Hey, what's up, First Youth? Hey, this is Pastor David, and this is your favorite co-host, Eli Piper, with all her favorite toys. So she could throw this at the camera at some point, but we're going to roll with it. Hey, if you're reading along with us, and I hope you are, we were in Ezra 4 yesterday. And in Ezra 4, the first 5 verses, Ezra is continuing the narrative, the story that we've been going through for the last 3 chapters. But also in verse 6, he goes ahead and shifts what he's talking about. He shifts even the timeline that we're in. He jumps 100 years in the future because he jumps into his present day. And the reason he does that is because he is comparing his trial, his hurdle, his obstacles in life that he's going through to the one that the Israelites experienced 100 years before. You see in the first 5 verses, if you read, Israel was facing opposition from the outside nations around them. They were facing oppositions to rebuild the temple. And now the temple has been built, and now Ezra is facing opposition to rebuild the rest of Jerusalem, the rest of the city. And so what he's doing here, as he is struggling with his own hurdles, his own obstacles, what he is doing is he is showing the faithfulness of God just 100 years before then. And why would he do that? Because ultimately he is putting his faith in God to meet his needs for this current obstacle in his life. And the reason I bring all of that up is because you and I, let's be honest, are going through hurdles, we're going through obstacles. There are things in our lives, there's opposition in our life that is in the way of what we're wanting to do, what we're hoping will happen in our lives. And we're facing these obstacles, and what are we to do? Well, ultimately, Ezra is setting up the model here for us. Well, ultimately, we're to look back at what God has already done in our lives. Look back at what God has already done for our nation. Look back at what God has already done for our world. Why? Because out of that memory, out of that remembrance of what God has done, we will find hope and faith that He is going to meet the need that we have today. And so my encouragement today is simply for us to hold on to what God has already done in our life, because He is going to continue to work in our lives even as we are in the midst of trials. Hey, First Youth, we love you. Eli says she loves you, and we'll talk to you soon.